Hello and welcome to the Annual Meeting of Shareholders of G Mining Ventures Corporation. Please note that today's meeting is being recorded. If you participate in today's meeting and disclose personal information, you will be deemed to consent to the recording, transfer, and use of same. If you disclose personal information of another person in today's meeting, you will be deemed to represent and warrant to Computershare and the corporation that you first obtained all required consents for the disclosure, recording, transfer, and use of such personal information from all appropriate persons before your disclosure. During the meeting, we'll have a question and answer session. You can submit questions or comments at any time by clicking on the Q&A tab. It is now my pleasure to turn today's meeting over to Louis Gignac. Mr. Gignac, the floor is yours.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Annual General and Special Meeting of Shareholders of G Mining Ventures Corp. I now call the meeting to order. My name is Louis Gignac Sr., and I am the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Corporation. In accordance with the Corporation bylaws, I will act as Chair of this meeting, and Marc Dagenet, our Corporate Secretary, will act as Secretary of this meeting. Before proceeding with the formal business of the meeting, I would like to set out a few rules for its orderly conduct. Nous tenons d'abord à remercier tous les actionnaires présents aujourd'hui et à vous informer que cette assemblée se déroulera uniquement en anglais, compte tenu du nombre important d'actionnaires anglophones. Toutefois, les actionnaires sont invités à prendre la parole ou à poser leurs questions en français pendant l'assemblée. We just thank all shareholders with us today and advise that while the meeting will be conducted in English only, shareholders are welcome to speak and ask questions in French during the meeting. The business to be conducted at this meeting is set out in the notice calling the meeting and the Management Information Circular, which were delivered in advance of this meeting to shareholders of record on May 22nd, 2026. The only persons who may vote or take any other action at this meeting are registered shareholders as of May 22nd, 2026, or their duly appointed proxy holders or authorized representatives present in person here or via live webcast. The scrutineer has advised me that the proxies voted in favor of the various matters to be decided at this meeting have already been received, and that there are no shareholders present in person or represented by proxy here or via live webcast who are entitled or have requested to cast a vote on any of such matters during the course of this meeting. We will now proceed with the formal portion of today's meeting. To expedite matters, I will move all motions and will not require motion to be seconded. With the consent of the meeting, Leslie Ann Alano of Computershare Investor Services will act as scrutineer of this meeting and tabulate the votes taken at this meeting and report the results to me and the Secretary. The purpose of today's meetings are fivefold. One is to receive the annual consolidated financial statements of the corporation for the financial year ended December 31st, 2025, and the auditor's report. Two, to appoint PricewaterhouseCoopers as the external auditor of the corporation and authorize the directors to set their compensation. Three, to elect directors for the next year. Four, to approve all unallocated awards under the corporation's Omnibus Equity Incentive Plan. And five, to approve on an advisory, non-binding basis the corporation approach to executive compensation. Detailed information regarding each of these matters has been provided in the circular. The Secretary has provided me with proof that the notice calling the meeting, together with the circular and related materials, were mailed to all shareholders as of record date for this meeting. In accordance with the applicable law and the corporation's article and bylaws, I direct that proof of service be annexed to the meeting minutes, and these meeting materials are also available under the corporation's profile on SEDAR+. With your consent, I will dispense with the reading of the meeting notice. At this point, I will review the preliminary scrutineer's report. The report shows that there are at least 2 holders of shares entitled to no less than 25% of the votes attached to all issued and outstanding shares, who are present in person or represented by proxy here or via live webcast. Accordingly, the scrutineer has certified that the quorum is present at this meeting. I would ask him to prepare his formal report and deliver it to the Secretary before the end of this meeting. I would also direct the Secretary to retain such report in the records of the meeting. With appropriate notice having been given and quorum being present, I declare this meeting duly constituted and ready for the transactions of business as set out in such notice. The first item of business The statements are available on SEDAR+ and were mailed to shareholders who have requested a copy. Additional copies are available upon request. While it is not proposed to ask shareholders to approve the statements, we would be pleased to deal with any question concerning them after the formal business of this meeting. Since you have all received the auditor's report together with the statements, I will dispense with reading of such report. The next item of business is the appointment of the corporation's auditor for the next year. Shareholders are asked to appoint PricewaterhouseCoopers, Chartered Professional Accountants, as auditors of the corporation to hold office until the close of the next annual general meeting, and to authorize the directors of the corporation to set the auditor's compensation. The appointment of this authorization must be approved by a majority of the vote cast by the shareholders present in person or represented by proxy and entitled to vote. I have received the scrutineer's preliminary report on voting in respect of the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers as auditors, and based on the results reported and considering that there are no shareholders present at this meeting who shall be casting any votes on the matter, it appears the resolution has been duly carried by the required majority of votes by shareholders represented by proxy and entitled to vote. These results will be confined and publicly disclosed later today. I direct the Secretary to attach the scrutineer's report to the meeting minutes. The next item of business is the election of directors for the next year. There are 10 directors' positions to be filled. Management has nominated Vincent Benoit, Pierre Chenard, Aline Côté, David Fennell, Louis-Pierre Gignac, Elif Lévesque, Norman MacDonald, Jason Neal, Naguib Sawiris, and Sonia Zagouri for election as directors of the corporation for the next year. Majority of them are present at this meeting either in person or via the live webcast. Given that the scrutineer has advised me that the number of votes against the election of any of the shareholders is not material, and considering that there are no shareholders present at this meeting who shall be casting any votes on the matter, it appears that each of the 10 management nominees are duly elected by the required majority of votes cast by shareholders represented by proxy and entitled to vote. I therefore declare the following individuals to be elected as directors for the next year or until their successors are elected or appointed. In accordance with the provision of the corporation's bylaw, these individuals are Vincent Benoit, Pierre Chenard, Aline Côté, David Fennell, Louis-Pierre Gignac, Elif Lévesque, Norman MacDonald, Jason Neal, Naguib Sawiris, and Sonia Zagouri. The voting results on the election of directors will be confirmed and publicly disclosed later today. Such results will be reported on an individual basis. I direct the Secretary to attach a scrutineer's report to the meeting minutes. The next item of business is the approval of all unallocated awards under the Corporation Omnibus Equity Incentive Plan. The full text of the Omnibus Plan is set out in Appendix A of the circular. I have received the scrutineer's preliminary report on voting in respect of the unallocated awards under the Omnibus Plan. Based on the results reported and considering that there are no shareholders present at the meeting who shall be casting any votes on the matter, it appears the resolution has been duly carried by the requisite majority of votes cast by shareholders represented by proxy and entitled to vote. This result will be confirmed and publicly disclosed later today. I direct the Secretary to attach the scrutineer's report to the meeting minutes. The next item of business is the approval of the corporation approach to executive compensation on an advisory, non-binding basis. The full text of the resolution for that advisory vote is set out in the circular. I have received the scrutineer's preliminary report on voting in respect to the corporation approach to executive compensation. Based on the results reported, and considering that there are no shareholders present at this meeting who shall be casting any votes on the matter, it appears that the resolution has been duly carried by the requisite majority of votes cast by shareholders represented by proxy and entitled to vote. This result will be confirmed and publicly disclosed later today. I direct the Secretary to attach the Secretary's report to the meeting's minutes. As the business of this meeting has been completed, unless anyone has any questions or comments, I declare the meeting to be concluded. Thank you all for taking the time to attend today.
We got a note that there are no questions on the platform.
All right.
This concludes the meeting. You may now disconnect.